Today we acknowledge the 5th anniversary of the U.S. Space Force. With pride, we celebrate this milestone. But our legacy extends far beyond these 5 years. From the early days of World War I, when intelligence was collected with hot air balloons, to the Gulf War, when GPS guided our forces, to now, and the cutting-edge satellites orbiting our planet today. Space control, global mission operations, and assured space access, and this increasingly contested warfighting domain, it's important now more than ever that Guardians play their part in victory.
Hello, General Saltzman. Thanks so much for joining the Space Force Association at the first annual Spacepower Conference. It's an honor to have you here, sir.
It's great to be here.
Sir, on the 5th Space Force birthday is days away. So as the service looks very different than it did 5 years ago, on December 20th, 2019, what do you attribute the service's success to, and what are you most proud of?
Well, I think both answers are Guardians. I mean, they're the ones that are doing the heavy lifting. In the Pentagon, we talk about policies, we try to arrange for budgets, but the hard, heavy lifts are done out in the field, where the Guardians every single day are providing satellite communications and missile warning and PNT, keeping us all safe and prosperous. And so they're doing the heavy work. And that's really what the success of the Space Force is, a service level focus on space, and the Guardians are just killing it.
Thank you, sir. During your speech, you introduced Guardians to 6 Space Force truths you've seen develop over the past 5 years. I love that you said, I've been working on these notes before every time I get up and give a speech. That was a perfect connotation to how important you believe these are. Explain why the Space Force exists and who Guardians are. You mentioned an expectation that future Guardians will take the truths for granted. What do today's Guardians need to do to make that a reality?
Well, they have to just incorporate those truths into their everyday decisions, their activities. The reason there's a Space Force is because space is critical. It's critical to our nation. It's critical to our military. It's critical to our economy. And our adversaries have noticed that, and they want to take it away from us. And it's the Space Force's responsibility to keep that from happening. That's the simple side of it. And if Guardians can really think about these truths and apply them in their everyday actions and activities, then we're going to be a better force to do our job.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You also said it makes no sense to train for a day without space, and our strategic advantage evaporates without space. Can you expand on the meaning behind those statements?
Yeah, it's no longer something that we can put in or take out. It is simply part of the equation. You can't make water without hydrogen. There's just certain things that just don't happen anymore. And the United States is not the United States without its space capabilities, whether that's economically or militarily. And we've become so dependent on it that you just don't factor anymore taking it away. It's how do we fight for it, how do we defend it, and how do we make sure we never lose it.
Sir, we're never going to have a day without space because of the Guardians you've got on the watch. How do events like this support Space Force's growth and Guardian development?
Coming together, connections, one of our core values. And, what I see that I'm most happy about is all of the sidebar conversations that are going on. People meeting each other for the first time and saying, hey, I've got something to show you. Let's touch base later after we leave this conference. So there's the conference and hearing senior leaders talk, and it's great for us to get our message out and into a large number. But it's those sidebar conversations, the connections that are made in the margins that are really going to pay dividends. And the Space Force Association is uniquely focused on just the Space Force and just the Guardians. And so when you bring that collection of people together, it's just magic.
Well, we're honored to have you here, sir, and we really do appreciate all your continued support for your SFA. During your speech, you talked about climbing a mountain without a summit. It can be tiring to build new things when there's not an end in sight. Now, 5 years in, how do you sustain the energy to keep climbing, and what would you say to Guardians who are feeling the strain?
Take a deep breath. And the good news is the metaphor breaks down pretty quick because it's not each individual doesn't have to go all the way to the summit. You do your job and you pass it off to the next person. We rotate jobs, we rotate as we get promoted and move up through our careers. So we just have to build those foundations and pass the baton off to the next person. If you start to get tired, you pass it off to one of your teammates. And so it's about a spree. It's about realizing that the only way for us to do this forever is through teamwork, that connection, that commitment. And I think this is one of those venues that helps build that resiliency in the team, and the team is going to be what sees it through to the summit.
Awesome. Sir, thanks so much for your time. Semper Supra.
Semper Supra.
Look at your daily life, whether it's through GPS guiding your travels, the satellite signals powering your entertainment, or enabling the mobile devices that keep you connected. It's safeguarded by us, the Guardians. So as we celebrate our 5 years of service, know that we'll always be there, serving and securing our nation's interest in, from, and to space. Semper Supra.